I face many of the concerns that many of our constituents are facing daily, and I'm not out of touch. One of the things that I have said is I've got 13 years experience in the Army. I've been up underneath pressure, and I have a wide variety in terms of working, diverse background in terms of working with many different folks, and also bringing folks in together. That's one of the biggest things that I did in the military as far as servant leadership. And so I also have a business too. I'm in real estate, and I've done that well over 10 plus years. Started that my business from nothing and actually grew it to where it is to now. But really truly on the side of the community, and really want to push transparency, accountability, and accessibility for the greater community here out in Augusta, Richmond County.
Speaking of military background, that could be a plus.
Oh, definitely here. Augusta, Richmond County has a huge military presence, with Fort Gordon being just right up the street here. We have a lot of military, we have a huge military community. And so I look at that as being a way to our actual consolidated government to actually collaborate with our actual military partners. And not only just collaborate, but to actually really bring them into our community, because a lot of them are already living here anyways. But we also want to make sure that we're also meeting their demands as well. Oftentimes, we talk to many of the constituents around here, but we also have military partners or military residents that are here because they're stationed here. And so sometimes we're not aware of some of the issues that they may have some concerns with. And so it's just really about bringing them together, and then also making sure that we continuously grow as a community, because what I have seen right now is that we have not been really truly collaborative when it comes to working with our actual military community.
There was, I don't know, how many years you have been in Augusta?
I've been here since 2024, but I've owned property here since 2017. And again, Augusta's always been a second home. My mom was born here, my grandparents, my siblings, so I always frequently travel here.
But you were born where?
Born in Atlanta, Georgia. I tell you that transportation is a real big concern for me, and also the constituents as well. And so the money that they removed from the transportation program last year really concerned me, and it concerned a lot of residents around here. But the one thing that I want to say is, when it comes to transportation, it's got to be smart transportation. And what I mean by that is, it's got to match the needs of our constituents here in Augusta, Richmond County. And what I have seen continuously is that we're not doing practical things that make sense for our community. So this is why I feel that we've got to be a little bit more collaborative in what the needs of our military community is, as well as our constituents that have been living here long before the military presence has been here. And we've got to make sure that we're matching both of those demands. But transportation is a real big concern of mine, but we've got to make sure that that transportation is being provided in areas that makes the most sense for our community. And so that's what I'm looking to really get behind and figure out.
So you could implement another route for Gordon?
Yeah, we can do that along with the commissioners. Me and the commissioners will have to come together and figure out what that looks like, along with the actual transportation director. But we've just got to really get comfortable having these hard, uncomfortable conversations. And these are the types of amenities that I'm really, truly after. When we start talking about providing high quality service to our Augusta, Richmond County residents, we also got to figure out how we continuously keep improving our amenities. And so transportation is one big one here. We have quite a few Augusta natives that do not have transportation. They don't have a vehicle. And so we've got to make sure that we're meeting those needs of our constituents, because that's really a great need here. And we've got to make sure how we continuously keep improving our amenities. And so I never want to take money away from amenities that continuously keep our residents being able to get to work, being able to get to recreational activities, but just to also be able to get back and forth to even church services and religious services. And so this is definitely one of my priorities that I want to get out there along with the commissioners to make sure. But I will need the buy-in from the commissioners to get that change.
Being an Army soldier, it could be a plus, but it could be a frustration too.
Yeah, well, I think it starts by leading by example. One of the biggest leadership traits that I took after in the military was servant leadership. And you got to really come at this from the standpoint that you're there to serve. And that's one of the things that I want to actually lead with as being mayor of this city, by listening to our commissioner, continuously keep listening to our constituents, and just coming to the table and figuring out which decisions work. My decision is not always going to be the right decision, and the rest of the commissioner's decision may not always necessarily be the right decision. But if we can come together, and that's what I want to do by leading these hard, uncomfortable conversations, and figure out where we can meet in the medium, the middle, to figure out what actually best suits our actual Augusta residents. That's one of the biggest ways that I want to do. But another way that I want to also change up how we do business here is really bring our community into our government like no other. The charter review process, I believe, was not done in the best selection process. And what I mean by that is, I believe that the community should have been the ones that were nominating folks onto that committee. And that way, they actually represented each district that we have here in Augusta, Richmond County, to really get after some of the issues that are some huge concerns here for our Augusta, Richmond County residents. And so these are some of the types of conversations that I will lead differently. But not only that, making sure we change up how we do our process with our government. What time we do commission meetings, how long a person can actually speak in those meetings, and what type of format we can actually host our actual constituents that are coming forth. But then even also taking it a step further, creating something called mayor hours, where the community can come in and sit down with me, their mayor, and let me know about the issues that they have going on, so that way we can start being proactive versus reactive. What I have learned time and time again, we have a huge leakage here in Augusta, Richmond County, where, like you said, residents are seeing a lot of folks are working here in Augusta, Richmond County, but they're taking the revenue that they're earning here in Augusta, Richmond County, and they're going to Aiken and Columbia County. And one of the things I want to just change up is just really listening to our constituents. Our constituents have told us time and time again what it is that they want, and we've got to start listening. And so that's one of the ways that I really plan on changing this. And that's the reason why I've said that, this is the reason why I'm running for mayor, because I've got a fresh mindset on how to do different things, and I've got a balanced perspective. And so even in the military, pulling in off that background, yes, we were always trained to get out there and complete the mission, but we were also trained to work with everybody, to be collaborative, and to make sure that we're doing the best thing possible for the actual nation. And in particular, in this case, it would be the Augusta, Richmond County residents. And so my thing is really just about engaging and being out in the community as much as possible, so I can really get an understanding about how the decisions that we're making here at 535 Municipal Building, Marble Palace as they call it, is affecting our overall community as a whole. Biggest thing, well, one of the contributing things I have noticed is that our elected officials are just out of touch with our community. And the only way to be in touch with our community is not only to just have more open forums for our community to dialogue with us, but to be engaged with our community in their environments where they're at. And so those are some of the ways that I plan on leading, but also just making sure that I be as transparent as possible. And I truly believe if you're transparent as possible and you're doing the things that you say that you're going to do, then this changes how some of the commissioners will interact with you, and just how overall people will interact with you in general.
Employee morale is lower as can be. If you are elected mayor, do you have some agendas that we're going to discover later?
Yeah, I'm like any other constituent. The loans that I have, or the loan that I have right now, is on my home, just like any other constituent is. But no, I don't have anything that's hiding in my backdrop. I have been very risk averse in terms of, I'm not gonna say risk averse, but I have been very conscious about how I take on risk in my life. It's got to be a balance. And so no, I don't have anything like that. Only thing that I'm truly, really concerned about is what's been going on in our government. The only reason why I'm even running is because of the same exact situation that you're mentioning now. We've got these career politicians that continuously keep standing before us, making promises on day one. They get in office and do complete opposite. I'm running to combat that. And this is the reason why I'm trying to create all these processes to hold not only myself accountable, but to hold the rest of the elected official commission body accountable as well. And so this is really how we kind of change that narrative about how we have seen local government work. And so it can be done. one of the biggest ways that I want to do that is by educating our public daily about what the decisions that we're making here at 535 Telford Street, but also just to get not only just talking at our community, but to also get their feedback as well. And that's the reason why I want to create, the things like the mayor forum, the mayor hours, where basically the community can come in and talk to me. But I also want to create a mayor roundtable too, where the community can nominate folks on that roundtable that would be their representatives to actually be my boots on the ground, so that way I can hear a little bit more clear, succinct ideas about what's going on in our communities. But no, I don't have anything in my closet, the proverbial idea that I'm hiding things from our community. I want to be truly transparent, and this is the reason why I'm asking for some of these processes that I've been talking about to become a part of the governing body.
The second wild card that is going to show in this election, May 19, is that the piggy bank stopped for so many years. The politicians have been using our revenues, our tax money, to keep in power, to be elected and re-elected. So we don't know. This is for me a very interesting time, because this is the first time that the agencies and non-profits are not going to be part of the election, because they don't feel why I will vote if the politician that promised me the revenue is no longer there.
Yeah.
So how you are going to tell the agencies and non-profits that you could partner with them in a different way?
The education piece is one of the big things. I will tell you this is one thing that I learned about even the sweeper coming on the street. You have to call them 311 to be able to get them to come out to the street to actually do it. They don't just automatically do it anymore. That was something I learned. But again, this is part of the education piece that I want to make sure that all of our constituents know how to receive the services that Augusta Richmond County has to offer for our community. And so that will be one of the big things. But then the other piece is we've got to make sure that whatever money that we're potentially going to give to a nonprofit to provide services for our community, we've got to make sure that we're holding them accountable as well. And so one of the ways that I want to do that is do some type of checks and balance system to figure out, okay, well, we give you this money on this such and such time, but we need to also do some type of auditing process in terms of, where that money is going for, is actually meeting the needs of the folks in your program that you say it's going to meet. And so I just think that when we start talking about being a little bit more efficient as our government and being really accountable for taxpayers' dollars, we've got to really be out in the open about who's getting that money and who's getting it on a continuous basis. And that's the reason why I want to create this Citizen Budget Advisory Committee. This is a committee that would be nominated by the folks here in Augusta Richmond County. No elected officials should have any input into the committee. And basically, this committee would basically review situations like that you're mentioning now, where they review projects that we have going on. They'll look and see where the money is going at here in the county, but also work hand in hand with the finance director. So that way, that's another added layer of protection that our actual citizens have, other than just an elected official telling them everything's going all right. We're taking care of all of the objectives that we say we're doing, and then we find out later on that they've misappropriated funds. And so these are just some of the added layer of protections that I want to do. But again, this is stuff that I'm going to have to get buy-in from the commissioners. But as the mayor, with helping set the agendas and set the priorities, this will allow these types of issues to continuously keep coming up. And the more and more we talk about this, the more we can find a better way and a solution to get after some of these issues that have been a deficit here in our community.
Speaking of deficit, you're going to inherit, as a mayor, a dysfunctional commission, a 21 million something missing.
Yeah, it was 21 million budget shortfall last year.
Used to be 5 million, now it's 21 or something. There is an investigation going on about almost 8 million misappropriated. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to see if you can see that we are dealing with semantics, dysfunction and semantic, because when the city officials saying that there is no wrongdoing, there is no criminal activity, just sloppy bookkeeping or accounting. Really?
Yeah, I think we've got to get a little bit more tight on our actual who we have in some of these different positions in the government. One of the things I have seen that really concerns me is that I'm wondering sometimes if some of the positions that we have in place here, do many of the folks that are holding those positions actually meet the qualifications? Augusta Richmond County is growing. When we operate I think a budget of over $1.3 billion, we've got to be very cognizant about who is getting into some of these key leadership positions. And we got to make sure that they understand really the true complex organization that we have here to be able to run it. And so this is one of the biggest things that I plan on getting after, working along with the commissioners to make sure that we have the right folks, the right talent in each position. But not only that, but to make sure that we change up the culture to make sure that the employees that we have here in Augusta Richmond County, I want them to come to a nice, safe, conducive working environment to where they can provide ideas and not have to feel that there's going to be some type of retribution because they spoke out about something that wasn't right. And so I really want to change our culture to make it make sense for the entire community, because when you change the culture here in Augusta Richmond County, as far as our government, our employees, they provide better services to our constituents. And so that's really one of the biggest things that I want to get out there. But again, it comes with making sure that we have a leader out front that is literally walking the walk and talking the talk. And what I mean by that is the mayor provided clear strategic direction with the actual commissioners, coming up with the priorities that make sense. But another thing is too, this is the reason why I've got a plan, Augusta 2045 Capital Acceleration Framework Plan. This is a 20-year vision where we get after doing significant infrastructure upgrades and utilities improvements throughout this county to match the economic development that's coming here. It's no longer enough to just simply do different to get out the different corridors here in Augusta Richmond County without actually having a bigger plan to encompass the entire Augusta Richmond County. And so I believe once we bring not only the community in, change the culture, bring furthermore transparency and accountability when it comes to our elected officials, we can start changing this actual makeup of how Augusta Richmond County has looked. And we can start bringing in more folks that want to live and actually work here and take up residence here. So I think that these are some of the larger concerns that I'm really looking to get after. These are basic issues that I'm trying to figure out how do we fix. But then also not to take it a step further, going further and talking about our actual residents as far as the water bills, the trash collection, the trash and trash is a part of our property tax bill. But my thing about it is, if we're using an actual vendor that is not giving us all the services that we once had, we need to put it out there to more than just one vendor and figure out how can we actually get some better services, or can we get more amenities that can actually affect our actual constituents here, but make sure that the money that we're paying is actually going to those actual things. And so I'm looking to really get deep, do a deep dive in terms of where, what vendors are getting what particular contracts, but also make sure that the resources that we're providing to those vendors to provide services to our residents, that they're actually doing it, and they're doing it in a way that makes sense for our community at large.
How your administration would treat the status of 1 week becoming the international capital of the world? Well,
I think that takes us collaborating with our community partners. again, I see so many folks out in our community that are doing great works. We have Augusta Richmond County is a very diverse culture. And I think it's time that we bring all of the many different cultures that we have here and figure out and ask them ideas. How can we make Augusta more robust than what we are right now? Because I agree with you. We have been known as the golf capital, so to speak, with the Masters tournament. But I would love for us to be known for just more than just golf.
And for 1 week.
Right, exactly. And this takes collaborating with many of our community partners, many folks from various different backgrounds in our community, and figuring out how the government can actually bridge that gap to those different communities to start advocating for those types of things. And so I believe that this is the reason why we've got to really start engaging with our community a little bit better than we have. I really look at the government as being a bridge to other different activities, government, and just our community in general. And so the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by really talking with our constituents and really listening with the intention of taking in some of their ideas and actually implementing them. And so that's the reason why that I'm fully with trying to bring in our community and make this government work for the community. Now, I know some people may say that may be a buzzword, but it's not. That's the reason why I want to create things like the Mayor Roundtable, because I know the Mayor Roundtable is going to elicit a lot of conversations, just like you're mentioning, that our community wants to see, especially prioritizing different ethnic culture events that we celebrate already routinely now, but just kind of emphasize it on a much larger scale to bring other folks here. Because I would love for Augusta Richmond County to be a destination for more than just the golf, but to be a destination to do different types of arts events, the cultural events that we have here, but really just highlight the beauty of our city and just the rich history that we have here in Augusta.
Speaking of making more international, the scientific community is very important. Are you going to do something about it?
Yeah, again, I'm interested in collaborating with everybody here in the city. And again, I will say this. I can have a lot of these conversations out in the open with folks and making sure that we put these types of things on the agenda. But it's also going to take my ability, along with the rest of the commissioners, to buy in. And I think the more and more we have these conversations and we start meeting with some of these individual groups or just the community at large, we can start having a different selection of different things. But yeah, I'm open to it. Would love to be able to explore what that would look like. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have an actual plan written out specifically for that. But again, I'm open to bring in everybody. If that's what it takes to bring in our entire community, I really want our community to be very inclusive. And I want everybody here in the community to feel like they have a potential, they have the ability to be able to voice their concerns and be able to participate in this government and to be able to have some of their ideas implemented. And so I'm open to it. And I also want to convey that fully to the rest of the commissioners as well that I'll be serving with.
How you are going to create a coalition of regular people, regular voters, in order to embrace you as their candidate, the underdog?
Well, the one thing I keep telling folks is don't count me out. My platform is simple: people before politics. Regardless of the connections, regardless of the money, the community is on my side. And I feel that largely. And so regardless of what many people have said, naysayers or whatnot, once you get the community on your side, that's the only thing you need. You don't need the money. You don't need the connections. Because as long as the community continues to keep standing with you, the system as a whole has no choice but to change. And so that's what I'm going to continue to keep doing, showing up for this community, talking with everybody, meeting them where they're at, and really just continuously keep pushing the concerns that many of the constituents have here in Augusta Richmond County. I would never allow those types of barriers, and I have not allowed those barriers to prevent me from being able to stand up and speak boldly to the actual system that we have in place, the establishment, as we call it, to basically keep our community docile. And so I'm speaking largely too. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep making a difference. And regardless of what people may say, we have made a difference already, and we're going to continue making it throughout the rest of this election season. So I'm very positive about that, and many of the folks out there are standing with me, and we'll see what the results is come May 19th for sure.
Any final thought?
No, I really do appreciate you allowing me to sit here and talk with you and engage. Really want everybody to get out and vote. Vote Eric Gaines for Mayor of Augusta, Richmond County. Election day is May 19th. Early voting starts April 27th to May 15th. People before politics, always.